The wind was not normal today. It didn't blow, it screamed. Trees bent, dust flew. The sky turned from blue to black in just minutes. People were running. Sirens wailed in every street. Aaron stood in the middle of the road, holding his cap. He looked up at the sky. A massive hurricane was coming, and it was coming fast. Come on. Start! Aaron hit the steering wheel. His old van was dead. The engine had stopped just as he was leaving town. Now he was stuck. And the storm was almost here. Everyone else had already left. Roads were empty, and the town was silent, except for the wind. Aaron was a simple man. He worked as a car mechanic in a small coastal town. He had no family, no kids, no big dreams. Just him, his dog, who ran away earlier from fear, and his old van. But now, even the van had left him alone. He looked around. To the left was the town. Dark, empty. To the right were the hills. And in the middle of those hills, something strange caught his eye. It was a metal door, half covered in dirt and grass, like an old shelter. It looked forgotten. Maybe from the war? He didn't know. Aaron grabbed his small bag, locked the van, and started walking toward it. Wind pushed him. It was hard to stay on his feet. The sky above cracked with thunder. The first rain hit like needles. He ran the last few steps. The door was heavy, rusty, but not locked. With a loud creak, it opened. A staircase went down. It was dark, and it smelled like old air and metal. Aaron hesitated. Then the wind pushed the door wide open behind him. A branch flew past his head. No choice now. He stepped inside and closed the door. Inside, it was quiet. Very quiet. Aaron turned on the flashlight from his phone. The stairs led down to a hallway. Old metal walls, pipes, dust. This wasn't a simple shelter. It was bigger. Like a bunker. He slowly walked down the hallway. His footsteps echoed. Water dripped from the ceiling. What is this place? He whispered. Then he saw an old sign on the wall. Level 1, Containment Zone. Property of Omega Project. Authorized personnel only. Containment? Omega Project? This was not for war. This was something else. Aaron walked further. There were rooms on both sides, some with broken glass, some with rusted doors. One had old lab equipment. Another had strange symbols painted on the walls. He felt like he shouldn't be here, but he couldn't leave. The storm outside was now roaring like a monster. He reached the end of the hallway. There was a final door, bigger than the others, with strange carvings around it. A symbol glowed faintly like it was alive. Aaron touched it. The door made a low hum, then slid open slowly. The room inside was dark. He stepped in. Suddenly, a voice whispered. Soft, deep, and not human. My fast ends today. Aaron froze. Who's there? He called out. No answer. He pointed his flashlight toward the corner of the room. Nothing. He turned to leave. But the door had closed behind him. His hands shook. He backed up slowly. His light moved around the room. There were strange machines, wires, and something large in the center, covered with a black sheet. He stepped closer. His heart was beating like a drum. He pulled the sheet. Underneath was a glass chamber. And inside, something moved. It was tall, thin, pale skin. Eyes closed, hands long and sharp. Not human. The creature looked weak, starving, like it hadn't eaten in years. It spoke again, but its mouth didn't move. You brought me power. The storm is the key. Aaron dropped his phone. The light fell to the floor. Darkness returned, but the creature's eyes opened, and they were glowing. He didn't scream. He COULDN single quotes T. Aaron stood frozen in the dark, breath stuck in his throat, heart hammering like a wild drum. His flashlight lay on the ground, its beams spinning wildly, making shadows dance across the walls like ghosts. In front of him, behind thick glass, The creature was awake. Its eyes glowed faint white. Not angry, not wild, but calm. Too calm. Aaron took one slow step backward. The voice returned inside his head, not through ears. It felt cold, heavy. You opened the door. That means you're ready. Ready for what? Aaron whispered, voice shaking. To witness the hunger. To feed the old promise. Aaron picked up the flashlight and shined it fully into the chamber. The creature didn't move. It was strapped with strange glowing chains. Its limbs were too long for its body. Skin smooth but dry like paper. There was no mouth. No nose. Just 2 eyes and a pulsing mark on its chest. It wasn't human. It wasn't animal. It was something. Forgotten. Aaron's brain told him to leave, but his body moved forward. On the side of the chamber, he noticed a small table, dust-covered. There was an old book on it, a journal. He opened it slowly. Pages were yellow, handwritten. Entry 13. We failed to destroy it, so we locked it. It speaks in thoughts. It listens. If you hear it, you're already part of it. Do not feed. Do not respond. Do not stay. Aaron looked up. Too late. The bunker shook lightly. Was it the storm outside or the thing inside? The creature spoke again. You think you're the first? You are the last. Aaron turned around. He ran back to the metal door that brought him into this room. Locked. He pushed, pulled, hit it with his shoulder. No use. He was trapped. The lights flickered. Somewhere deeper in the bunker, a machine powered on. Aaron looked down the hallway. A dim blue light pulsed from the walls. It wasn't just a shelter. This place was alive. Still functioning. He followed the hallway. He needed to understand where he was, what this place really was. He reached a new section. The walls here were marked with red paint. Zone 2, Memory Vault. Aaron stepped inside. It was colder here. On one side were rows of old TV screens. On the other, containers filled with liquid. Each container had a floating shape, some human, some not. He nearly vomited. Suddenly, one screen turned on. Static. Then a face appeared, an old man with white hair, speaking in a recorded message. If you're hearing this, it means containment has failed. My name is Dr. Farrow. I led the Omega Project. In 1974, we found something beneath the ice. It was not dead. We brought it here. We studied it. We should have left it buried. Aaron. Step closer. The creature speaks without sound. It tricks you into opening its cell. Then it feeds, not on flesh, but on time. It fasts for years. Then during great disasters, hurricanes, quakes, it awakens. It drinks seconds, minutes, lives, entire futures. Aaron's hand shook. The creature wasn't a monster. It was a thief of time. The screen glitched. The face faded. But the voice returned inside. Aaron's mind. I did not choose this prison. Your kind built it. Your kind locked the door. But it is your storm that gives me breath now. Aaron stumbled back. He looked at the journal again. The last page had one sentence written in red. If the storm brings him strength, let silence be your weapon. He returned to the chamber. The creature was still inside. But now, the chains had cracks. The glow was dimmer. And the mark on its chest? Brighter. Aaron didn't speak. He didn't blink. The creature tilted its head, studying him. Then softly, like a whisper behind his ear, it said, Why run, Aaron? You came to me. You brought the storm with you. Aaron's heart skipped. How, do you know my name? No answer. Just a slow smile forming not with lips, but with thoughts. Behind him, another door creaked open. A hallway he hadn't seen before. Aaron turned toward it. Flashlight shaking. Carved into the new wall was a symbol, the same one glowing on the creature's chest. And under it, in English, Chamber of Feeding. Aaron now had a choice. Go forward. Deeper into the unknown. Or stay here. And risk the Creature breaking free, either way. The storm outside was not his biggest problem anymore. It was the thing he had awakened inside. And it wasn't hungry for food. It was hungry for time. Time didn't move the same down here. That's what Aaron realized first. He looked at his watch. 9:02 p.m. He checked again. 9:02 p.m. It hadn't moved in over 10 minutes. And yet, the creature inside the glass chamber had started moving, slowly, carefully, as if every second was delicious. The chamber's glow faded with every breath the creature took. The chains that once held it now looked soft, weak, like old rope about to snap. Aaron stepped back, heart racing. The voice returned. You still think you are awake, but time has already bent. Aaron shook his head, trying to stay focused. He reached for his phone to use the flashlight again. Dead. Great, he muttered. He walked toward the far wall of the bunker room where he had seen a power panel earlier. Maybe he could turn on the backup lights. Maybe even open the door again. But the wall wasn't there anymore. Instead, a hallway had appeared. A hallway that didn't exist 5 minutes ago. The same glowing symbol, the one on the creature's chest, floated on the new wall. Like a silent invitation. Aaron felt something strange. The air was still, but his thoughts were not. He stepped into the hallway. The lights inside pulsed faint blue. The floor was smooth metal. On both sides were mirrors, but they didn't reflect Aaron. They reflected someone else. Someone older. Someone tired. His face, but 20 years older. Wrinkled, pale. Aaron stared. Was it a trick? Then one mirror moved. Not the glass, the reflection. The older Aaron turned his head, looked at him, and mouthed 3 words. It needs you. Aaron stumbled back, but behind him, the hallway had closed. No way back. No sound now. Not even his own footsteps. The silence was so deep it made his ears ring. He moved forward. At the end of the hallway was a circular room. In the center, a strange chair, like a control seat, surrounded by floating screens and old buttons. Aaron approached. One screen turned on. It showed the Earth, but not like a normal map. It showed dots, hundreds of them, flashing and disappearing. Below it, a word blinked. Feeding zones. 73% complete. Aaron stared. This wasn't just about one bunker. This thing had fed before, all over the world. Every hurricane, every earthquake, every blackout, were those its work? The creature wasn't just here. It was everywhere. The voice spoke again. But this time, it wasn't inside his head. It echoed through the whole bunker. You unlocked my cycle, Aaron. The last seal broke with your breath. Now, I wake. Back in the main chamber, the chains shattered. With a hiss, the glass cracked, then exploded outward. Aaron ran. He didn't look back, but he felt the thing stepping out behind him. The walls groaned. Lights flickered. Every second felt like it was being stretched like rubber. The hallway ahead twisted literally, like time itself was bending around him. He finally dove into a side room and slammed the door shut. He was inside what looked like a control room. Old, but filled with buttons, warnings, and one large screen in the center. The screen turned on. Automatically, a message appeared. Emergency lockdown possible. Warning, subject may override physical barriers. Time anchor required for full recontainment. Time anchor? Aaron whispered. What the hell is that? He searched the room. Found a case marked anchor unit, manual use only. Inside, a device like a small cube, glowing with the same pulsing light he saw on the creature's chest. And a note. Anchor connects consciousness to real-time flow. Without it, all will fade. He didn't understand it all. But he knew one thing. This cube could stop the creature. Or stop him. Suddenly, metal creaked. Outside the room. Heavy footsteps echoed. 1, 2, 3. Then silence. A whisper slid through the walls like smoke. You brought me the storm. Now let me return the favor by taking your future. Aaron clutched the cube tighter. He wasn't just surviving now. He was holding time itself in his hands. Asterisk, it wasn't a dream. But it wasn't memory either. Aaron stood in a quiet forest. No wind, no storm, just stillness. Birds froze mid-flight. Trees held their leaves like statues. The air felt thick, like water. He looked down. The ground shimmered beneath his feet, like glass. Then he heard laughter. A young boy ran past him, barefoot, smiling. Aaron's chest tightened. "That's me," he whispered. The boy ran toward an old man sitting on a wooden chair, fixing a watch with tiny tools. His grandfather, Aaron, remembered this day. The old man's voice came back like an echo. "Time isn't just numbers, Aaron. Time has a shape, a weight, a heartbeat. Learn to feel it, and you'll know when something is wrong." Back then, it felt like a silly story, but now, Aaron understood. Suddenly, the sky cracked. Not with thunder, but with light. The forest shattered like glass. Aaron fell through it, spinning into blackness, and landed hard on a cold metal floor. Back in the bunker, back in the nightmare. The cube had grabbed earlier, still pulsed in his hand. But something was different now. The cube had marked him on the back of his hand. A faint glowing symbol had appeared, the same symbol the creature wore on its chest. Aaron got up slowly, looking around the dim hallway. It was quiet again. Too quiet. Then, from around the corner, he heard music, a piano, old, playing a soft melody. A lullaby. He followed the sound, careful, quiet, every muscle tense. The hallway led to a room labeled Archive Room, Level Omega, Records of the Past, Access Restricted. The door slid open on its own. Inside were rows of screens, old documents, and glowing memory disks floating in the air. Aaron stepped in. One of the disks lit up and floated toward him. It showed a video, black and white. A lab. 1975. Men in hazmat suits. And in the center, a frozen body, long limbs, thin frame, the creature. But younger, smaller, weaker. A voice in the recording spoke. "Specimen 01. Temporal entity. Found beneath Arctic ice layer. Estimated age, unknown. Claims to have witnessed early human civilization. Claims to have seen Rome fall, Babylon rise. Claims it remembers us." Another disc appeared. This one played a different scene. A group of people wearing robes, thousands of years ago, kneeling before the creature. They fed it fire, light, something like liquid time. The creature grew stronger with each offering. Aaron's stomach turned. This thing didn't just survive time. It fed on it. Then a third disc floated down. Personal file. Label, Subject 7, Dr. Elias. Crane. Aaron's eyes widened. That was his grandfather's name. The disc showed his face older, tired, wearing the same uniform as the Omega Project team. He was one of them. A voice recording began to play. "If my grandson finds this, listen to me carefully. The creature is not a god. It is not a demon. It is a memory thief. We locked it here to stop it from eating the future. But if you hear it, if you see it, it's already inside you." Aaron backed away. His grandfather helped build this place. He helped trap the creature. And now, the creature had brought him back to finish what was started. The screens around him flickered. Then they all showed the same thing. Aaron's face. A live feed. From inside the bunker, the creature was watching him from every wall, every screen, every dark corner. "You carry his blood," the voice said. "And so you carry the key." The cube in Aaron's hand grew hot. The symbol on his hand began to glow brighter. Suddenly, a new door opened behind him. This one was different, covered in markings he didn't recognize, but his handprint glowed. It wanted him to enter. Aaron stood at the threshold. Behind him, the echo of the past. Ahead, a door only his blood could open. He knew one thing now. This wasn't just about survival. This was his family's war. The door didn't open. It inhaled. That's how it felt when Aaron placed his glowing hand against the metal. The strange symbols pulsed once. Then the door breathed in like a living thing and slowly slid open. A cold wind hit his face. Not from outside, but from deep. Below. The room in front of him was round, quiet, tall walls covered in glowing veins of blue light. In the center was a single chair, and behind it, a machine the size of a house. It looked like a giant spine had been pulled from the earth and wired into a computer. On the wall, 3 words blinked in red. Control core do not activate. Aaron stepped inside. The door closed behind him, sealing with a hiss. He was now inside the nervous system of the bunker. The creature's prison hadn't just been built with walls and doors. It had built with intention, design, sacrifice. Aaron walked to the giant machine. Its center held a round chamber with rotating rings like a clock with no numbers. Underneath it, a plaque, the anchor engine, created to freeze time around Subject Zero. He scanned the nearby control panel. Buttons, switches, a place to cove. Insert the cube. A warning blinked across the screen. Do not remove cube while subject is active. He had already removed the cube. That's why the creature had awakened. Aaron felt sick, angry. They knew, he said aloud. They knew people would forget, so they left this. He pressed a button. A projection appeared in the air, an old digital recording. His grandfather again. You must decide, Aaron. The bunker isn't just a cage. It's a weapon. This machine was never meant to trap the creature forever. It was made to rewrite time, erase it, force a reset. But using it means losing everything after the point of activation. Aaron's hand dropped to his side. A reset? This machine could send the world back to before the creature ever woke up. Before the storm. Before all of it. But the cost would be hide out memories, events. Entire lives might vanish. Including his. Suddenly, the walls flickered. The creature's voice slid into the room like a whisper behind every light. You would destroy time to stop me? You would trade your world for silence? Aaron didn't answer, but the machine responded. The central rings began to spin, without command, without touch. The creature was close, trying to interfere. The screen flashed again. Emergency. Core unstable. Time loop detected. Aaron ran to the side panel and flipped a switch. Power surged. Sparks flew. The machine screamed. He looked up and saw it through the glass above. The creature, watching him. It wasn't angry. It wasn't rushing. It was smiling. Aaron's thoughts began to slow. Not from fear, but from the field around him. The anchor engine was pulling at his mind. Flashes of his past hit him. Like thunder. His mother's voice. His first bike. The day his grandfather disappeared. Gone. 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 He dropped to one knee, and then he saw her. A woman stood in the memory field. Not real. Not alive. Just a fragment. But she looked like him. Same eyes. Same hair. A scientist's coat. The Omega symbol on her sleeve. She spoke softly. Aaron, your family didn't just build this place. We were chosen. Every few generations, someone is born who hears the past. You are the final anchor. Not the cube. Not the system. You. Aaron's heart stopped. He wasn't just here by accident. He was the last fail-safe. The woman faded. The machine hummed louder. Time itself twisted around him. Aaron stood up. He now had 3 choices. Insert the cube back into the core and trap the creature again, but it might wake again someday. Activate the reset, risking the erasure of everything he loved, but ending the creature forever. Or do nothing, and let the storm outside continue feeding the thing that walked without time. The creature's voice returned. Stronger, sharper. You don't need to fight me, Aaron. You just need to remember how good forgetting feels. The lights dimmed. Alarms wailed. Aaron stood at the console, hand shaking. breath slow. Eyes locked on the cube. One decision. 3 futures. No second chances. Asterisk. It started with a name, not a scream, not a sound. Just a name whispered inside Aaron's head. Aaron Crane. But it wasn't his voice, and it wasn't the creature's either. It was his own voice from childhood, younger, innocent, full of questions. Who are you? The child Aaron asked again. The bunker around him faded, walls turning to static. The floor beneath his feet vanished. He was floating now inside his own mind. He opened his eyes and found himself back in his childhood room. Posters on the wall. Toy cars on the floor. The soft hum of a ceiling fan. Everything was normal, except the time on the clock. 3:33 a.m. He blinked. Still 3:33. He blinked again. Still. Nothing moved. Then he heard footsteps. Slow, barefoot, wet. He turned. Standing in the corner was the creature, not in its pale, alien form, but wearing his father's face. Smiling. And crying. Let's make this easy, the voice said calmly. You give me the cube, and I'll return everything you lost. Aaron stepped back. This isn't real. The voice laughed his laugh. The creature was now speaking through every version of Aaron: child, teen, adult, future. But it feels real, doesn't it? Your memories are mine now, your guilt, your secrets, your regrets. I wear them like clothes. The room melted away. Now he was in a hospital hallway, his mother's room. The moment he was too late to say goodbye. But this time, she sat up. Alive, smiling. Aaron, she said gently, you don't have to be strong anymore. He knew it was fake, but his legs still walked toward her. Everything stopped. The hallway flickered like a broken screen. Sharp sound cut through the illusion, a siren from the real world. The cube in his hand burned hot. Aaron gritted his teeth. He shouted into the dream, you're not in my head. I'm in yours now. The world cracked. He dropped through blackness. Again. But this time, he landed in a mirror maze. Thousands of Aarons, all walking in different directions. One looked tired, another angry. One was bleeding. One was smiling like the creature. Each one whispered something as he passed. You should have left the door closed. Why did you come here? There was never a storm, only you. You're not the first Crane, just the last. Aaron grabbed the mirror version of himself and screamed, what do you mean? The reflection turned to ash. Suddenly, he was back in the real bunker, on the floor, sweating, shaking, heart pounding. He had survived the creature's mental trap, but not untouched. He looked around. The anchor engine was still active, but its rings were now spinning out of control. The system had been damaged while he was inside the illusion. One screen now blinked. Mind integrity, 61%. Subject merge underway. Aaron wiped his face. Creature had tried to absorb his memories, but it had failed. Barely. But something worse had happened. He now knew things he didn't know before. Thoughts that weren't his. Feelings that didn't belong. The creature had left a part of itself inside him. Not physical, but mental. A thread. A fingerprint. And it was growing. Alarms blared. New message on screen. Merge window, 9 minutes. Final option enabled. Neural link purge. He understood. If he didn't stop the link, the creature wouldn't just feed on time, it would become him. His body, his voice, his future. Aaron looked at the cube in his hand. The glow was dimmer now. The energy was almost gone. He placed it into the terminal. A countdown began. 8:59, 8:58, 8:57. The creature's voice returned louder, furious. You think burning the bridge stops the flood? You forget. I've already seen your ending. Aaron stared at the screen. So have I, he whispered. He turned away and began setting up the purge. His hand trembled. His thoughts flickered between memory and vision. The creature tried to distract him again, But he fought it minute by minute, button by button, pain in his skull, pressure in his chest, but still, he moved forward. The creature wasn't just a monster, it was a mirror, and Aaron had just cracked it as the timer hit 0:01. The room filled with blinding light. The last thought in Aaron's mind before blackout. If this ends me, it ends you first. The air snapped like a broken wire. Every light in the bunker went out at once. Darkness fell so fast it felt sharp. Aaron stood alone in the black, heart hammering in his ears. Then, soft red glows bloomed across the walls. The anchor engines. Rings pulsed in the distance slower now. Wounded, he took a steadying breath. This was it, the final choice. Aaron remembered every warning, every whisper, every vision. He had two options. Reinsert the cube, rebinding the creature in this prison, hoping the chains hold forever. Activate the reset, erasing all time. Back to before any of this began, sacrificing his life and the world's. He flexed his fingers. The cube lay open on the control panel, wires glowing faint blue. His reflection stared back from the glass-tired eyes, set jaw. A man who carried more than fear. He carried hope. He pressed a button. A single line of text appeared. Confirm final lock or global reset? His finger hovered. Behind him, a heavy door creaked. The creature's step. Slow, certain. He turned. In the red glow, it stood pale and tall, but weaker than before. Chains hung broken from its arms. Its eyes met his. No anger, now only hunger. Respect. You could have left me free, it whispered inside his mind. Then you would have watched your world die. Aaron spoke aloud, voice steady. I'm finishing this. He slid the cube into its slot. It fit like a key in a lock. Wires snapped and fused. The engine stuttered. Final lock initiated. Rings began to spin backward. A low hum grew into a roar. The walls trembled. Aaron braced himself. The machine hurled reality like thrown stones. Time rippled. Past and present blended. He saw flashes, his childhood. The storm. Every moment led here. Then the hum slowed. Almost stopped. Outside, the wind rose again. The hurricane was still raging, feeding the bunker with fresh power. But inside, power drained. The engine's glow faded. Aaron looked up at the creature. It stood motionless. Its head tilted, studying him. You trap me, it said softly, but you will trap yourself too. Aaron whispered back, I accept that. He hit the last switch. A jolt of light snatched every shadow away. The engine sighed like a great beast exhaling for the final time. All at once, the rings stopped spinning. The hum died. Silence. Aaron dropped to one knee. The cube fell free, cracked and dark. He closed his eyes, waiting for the world to end, to fade, to reset. But nothing happened. Silence remained. Then light returned, but softer, warmer. Not the harsh red of emergency. A pale white, like dawn. He opened his eyes. The creature was gone. No trace of chains or bones. Just an empty chamber. He stood and walked toward the exit. The metal door groaned open, as if welcoming him home. Sunlight spilled in. The storm clouds had moved on. The road outside was littered with debris, but the sky was blue. Aaron stepped out. His legs were weak. He leaned against the doorframe and looked around. No bunker alarms. No creature's whisper. Only distant sirens and the soft sound of rescue helicopters. He closed his eyes, breathing in fresh air. He thought of everything he had lost. Nights alone, the weight of choices, the echo of his grandfather's voice. And he thought of what he had saved, this world, his life, every second in between. Epilogue. New dawn later. Rescue teams found the entrance sealed. They cut through metal and debris and discovered the bunker empty. All they found inside was Aaron's shattered cube, and a single journal on a stand. On its last page, in neat handwriting, were 3 words: "My fast ends tomorrow." No one knew what it meant. But somewhere beneath the silence of that bunker, a pulse remained, waiting for its next breath.